Welcome back to this edition of Rick's Solo Cup. Finally back in the saddle, and we're looking tonight at Final Girl, which is just the perfect solo game to play in October. No matter what your favorite scary movie is, you're going to want to get into this one. So let's take a look at it.
Leave work behind and pull up a chair, my friend, because it's finally time for Games and Trades!
Welcome everyone. So tonight we are getting back into our solo series. So back into Rick's Solo Cup, even though I'm missing my solo cup right now. I'll fix that probably in a minute. So I think I mentioned in another video, but these were a little bit hard to get back into for me because in my previous videos I've always had my dog as kind of like my unspoken companion player too. Unfortunately, she passed a couple of months ago, and it was just hard for me to get back into some of the things that she always used to be around for. But now that I'm in a pretty good place after her passing, I feel good about getting back into the Solo Cup series. So really excited tonight to play one of my absolute all-time favorite solo games, which is Final Girl, especially in the spooky season. So playing this in the month of October just always seems really right to me. Especially when I'm playing some of the modules that reflect some of my all-time favorite scary movies. So in this case, we are playing the Evomorph, and we're playing that on the USS Konrad, which, as I'm sure any horror fan knows, these are all thinly veiled alien references. And even though there are going to be some elements of Aliens and some of the future films, really the way that this monster or this villain plays is really reminiscent of the hiding and suspense that happens in the original Alien film, which is my favorite because it's the most horror movie of all of them. So we are going to play through this tonight, and we're going to see how it goes. So I have not played this one in quite a long time, and it can be one of the more difficult killers in the Final Girl set. So we'll just kind of see how it goes. And like I've done in the other solo games in this series, I'm not going to give like a full rules overview at the beginning. I'm just going to kind of talk out how things work as we're doing them. And yeah, we'll kind of go like that.
So the first thing I want to do, though, is I do want to give an overview of both our killer and the location that we're playing on, just because they each have their own kind of special everything. So looking first at the Evomorph, which I'm going to put up on screen. The Evomorph is a little bit different from some of the traditional Final Girl killers in that it has an evolution mechanic that is going to fire off throughout the game as certain conditions are met. So as you can see from the evolution card that I'm putting up, there is going to be some trigger conditions that are going to happen. It's going to start off as the hatchling, which again is so cool because like in the movie Alien, it starts off as like in that face hugger stage where it's just going to be kind of the hatchling. It's incredibly difficult to engage at this point because it does a ton of damage. So I don't want to like walk into it and kill it, which again is just a cool callback to how the face hugger worked in the movie. It's then going to transition into the youngling, which is going to cause it to function a little bit differently and interact with the terror cards a little bit differently. And finally, the adult is going to cause it to go from 4 hits to 10 hits. And then I'm also going to use the adult ambush deck, which is down here, which is going to be more kind of bad stuff for me as the game goes on. The USS Konrad, which I'll put up on the screen right now, has a couple of neat idiosyncrasies in it as well. So the first thing is you'll notice that there are several vents on this board, and I'll circle a couple of those right now so you can kind of see what I mean. Those are going to be areas that the Evomorph itself can move through from the beginning of the game, but I cannot as my Final Girl. I have to assemble some key cards and place those key cards into the available spaces before I'm able to move through them myself. So it's going to start out with a movement advantage over me. I can also use the 3 different maintenance cards that you'll now see on the screen. And again, I can use the key cards that I both start with one and then can find some additional ones as I move about the board or maybe look through some of the decks. to be able to activate some of these powers. And kind of depending on where I am throughout the game, I may want to activate those just to get some additional hits in on the Evomorph, or even self-destruct the ship if it looks like things are going pretty badly and I think I can get into the escape pod. So normally in Final Girl, if I can kill the killer, but it causes my death, I would still win the game. However, here on the USS Konrad, if I airlock the Evomorph, or if I self-destruct the ship and I die in the explosion, I can't claim a victory. That's still just going to be a loss for me. So it makes it a little bit harder because I do have to be careful about the fact that if I do trigger some of those mechanisms, I have to make sure that I can get out alive. But that's just some of the cool thematic challenge of Final Girl, is that it's adding those conditions that make it feel really reminiscent of the horror movie IP that it is reflecting of. And that's what I'm going to really relish today, because this is, again, one of my favorite scary movies, just a really solid entry. So the Final Girl that I am playing as today is going to be Ellen, which... you can tell just from the name and from the hair is going to be Sigourney Weaver's character Ripley from Alien. And looking at the front of her card, we can see that as I rescue some of the victims, I'm going to get those particular powers. And then, of course, flipping her card over and looking at the back, if I do get to her kind of special power, I'll be able to freely look through the location's search decks and any of the unused items card instead of just taking the top card on the deck. So that's really going to help me. If I can save 7 victims pretty quickly, that'll really let me help dig through the deck, find some additional key cards, find some of this location's special sauce, so that I can get in and overcome my Evomorph. So yeah, that is what I am facing down right now. So let's just cut right into my gameplay.
So in my hand here, I've got all of my 0 cost cards. Those form kind of my starting hand. So I have my weak attack, my focus cards, my short rest, and my walk to help me get around through the USS Konrad. So if I'm looking at, so for this particular setup that I've got, we can see the Evomorph is starting over here, mostly away from a lot of my victims. I know based on their intelligence that they're going to move towards some of these victims and start killing them. Now, as they do that, that's going to trigger evolutions as well as up their amount of damage and the horror level itself. So I want to try and save just as many of these people as I can, making sure that I am keeping them. I mean, they're definitely going to evolve into a youngling. It's just going to take the one. But I want to see if I can stave off them getting to the adult just as much as I possibly can. Because that's going to trigger their having 10 hit points, and I really want to see if I can try and take them out at 4. I probably won't be able to, but I want to give it a shot. So if I'm looking here at the board, I know that for their action, they're going to move towards the easiest available victim. So unfortunately, even though there's 4 right here, he's going to move over here first, and that's a difficult spot for me to get to. So I may just have to take the L on a couple of these, because he's just going to be able to go straight to the hangar, and then he's going to have access to both the escape pod and this area right here. So I think what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to try to move some of these victims out of being in like really easy pickings range, and maybe just call these guys kind of lost. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start by playing 1 movement card, and I need to be a little bit careful here because in addition to the 2 walk cards that I have in hand, really the only movement I've got is going to be my sprint, which is going to cost me some time to be able to get. So I want to make sure I'm not locking myself into a position at all. So I think here's where I want to start. So the first thing I want to do is I want to play my focus card because I want to try to see if I can reduce the terror level just a little bit and see if I can maybe get myself higher up on the wheel where I can be rolling 3 dice. My terror level, of course, here is going to start at 4, and that is going to govern how many of these dice I'm rolling. The horror level could also interact with some of my terror cards depending on what's coming out. I don't know what's in the deck because it's randomized between the location cards and the Evomorph cards. So, and then it only has a total pool of 8. So I don't know what exactly is all in there. So where I'm going to start is I'm going to take the focus action. And since, again, the horror level is at 4, that means I get to roll 2 dice. So I'm going to see what I can do here. Okay, so I rolled 2 successes. That's a great first roll. So that means I reduce the horror level by 1 down to 3. And then I get 2 time, which is going to be awesome for me because it's going to let me get more of these cards when it comes time for me to do so.
So I took a quick break because I wanted to have dinner with my wife. Found my solo cup. Needed that for sure. Now tonight in it, I've got this Traverse City whiskey, which is from a place around where John is from. So when he goes to visit family, he brings me a bottle of this, which is a really nice, sipping bourbon. So if you're in the Michigan area, would highly recommend. Or I've started seeing it around in different liquor stores as well. So if you see it, it's definitely nice. I've made some old fashions with it too, and it's definitely a good sipping bourbon or a good mixing bourbon as well. So would recommend. All right, so before I took my little break, I took my first action of the game, did my focus, and then was able to reduce the horror level and get a little additional time, which was pretty darn good. So what I think I want to do now is I want to walk because I want to see if I can get one or more of these folks into my space so that I can start walking and getting them into a good spot. So I'm going to go ahead and roll for it. All right, so I got 1 success. That's not bad. But I only get to move 1 space, and it's going to cost me a time down to 7. And I think I'm going to walk again because I'm going to... Hopefully, since I got some extra time on my focus, I'll be able to use that to buy at least 1 sprint card and kind of see what I can do with that. So I'm going to try to walk again. And I get only 1 success again. So I'll be in this room. So we'll kind of see where this gets us. I want to hold on, I think, to the rest of my cards because with my hand limit is 10, and I can use my cards on certain results to give myself an additional success. So I don't necessarily want to just toss all of them because I won't be able to get them right back. So I think I want to stick here then, and I will move into my planning phase. So in the planning phase, I'm going to get cards from the board. I cannot reclaim the cards I've already used this turn. Those are going to go back into the pool after I've made all my purchases. Now I have 7 time left here. Actually, I should have 6 time left because I used 2 walks. So I've got 6 times left. I have to spend all of it because whatever I do, the counter is going to go back up to 6 at the end of the planning phase. So I need to make sure that I'm being pretty efficient. But just like right off the top, I'm going to take a sprint card because I need a way to move since I don't have access to walk, and that is really one of the only other ways I can force that. Now, if I look at the board here, I would love to get some of these folks out of the mess hall since this is a big concentration of victims. And I think that's one of my best shots to try and get some of Ripley or Ellen's powers online. And I wouldn't mind that additional key card from the mess hall too, so I can start opening up some of the maintenance ducts for myself as well. All right, so I can also take one of the scan cards. Scan is a card that is specific to the Evomorph scenario. That's going to let me scan the area I'm in so that if I'm ambushed, it's not going to be able to ambush me. So that might be good to take because chances are he's going to eat someone on his turn. So might want to do that. I'm going to take a scan. So sprint cost me 2, scan cost me 1, which leaves me with 3 time left of my 6. I think I'm going to take a distraction here too, honestly, with the 3. That's going to let me down or put the terror level or the horror level down a little bit more. And at this stage of the game, trying to get it pretty low so that I can attempt to roll 3 dice for some of these successes, I think is going to be good. So I'm going to try to do that. So we're adding sprint, scan, and distraction for a total of 6 time. And then at the end of my planning phase, I'm going to go back up to 6. Okay, now we're going to go into the killer phase. And now for the Evomorph's intelligence here, we can see he's go. Oop, I got an extra heart on there, which you shouldn't have. Yep. So he's going to start here, and then he's going to move towards the closest victim, and then he's going to attack it. So he can move through this maintenance shaft. This guy is closest, so he's going to eat that victim, and he's going to go into the dead space. That is going to move him up, and he's going to evolve. So I'm going to move the evolution token up here. Now, when he evolves, he's going to vanish. So when the Evomorph vanishes, he is going to come off the board and go on to the terror deck. Now, instead of resolving terror cards on the upcoming turns until it pops back out, I'm going to instead be ambushed, and that it's kind of a modal card that as soon as I get ambushed, it's going to be very soon. We'll look at how that works. So that ends the phase when the Evomorph is off the board. So it's going to go back to me. Oh, and at the end of the planning phase, this is what I forgot to do. I put all the cards that I used back, or I used previous turn back on the board, so they're available during my next planning phase. All right, so we go into the panic phase next. We did have a victim die, but the Evomorph is off the board, so no other victims are in its square. So there's no panic rolls to make, so the board is going to stay pretty much the same. I'm then going to go into upkeep. There's still tarot cards left. I don't have any items to rearrange, so I'm going to be nothing to do on the upkeep. So that's going to go straight back into my action phase. What I think I want to do first is I want to try to get the distraction. And the reason I want to do this is if I roll really well on distraction, it potentially gets my horror track into a spot where I could roll 3 dice, which lets me do a better sprint. So I want to give myself some options here if possible. So I'm going to roll these 2 and see what happens. Oh, okay. So I have a success, and then I can discard to get another success. So I think that's worth it, honestly, because it's going to get my horror level down to 1, and that'll let me roll 3. So I'm going to discard weak attack and short rest because I'm full on health. There's no Evomorph on the board for me to attack, so I think I'm safe to discard those for now. And that's going to give me my second success, moving this up to a success. So that is going to move the horror marker down onto the 1, which is great for me. And then it also gives me 2 times. So that's exactly what I was hoping for, was that was going to happen. And it gives me some options for my next sprint action. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to sprint next, and I'm going to roll 3 dice because I want to see how many of these victims I can clear out. I want to see if I can get someone in the escape pod and maybe get some additional time, reduce the horror level for... I'm just going to call her Ripley. We know she's Ripley. I'm just gonna mess it up. So she's Ripley. We all know it. Whoever owns the rights to Alien currently, please don't copyright me. Okay, so I'm going to roll 3 dice because I got the horror level down to 1. And I'm going to put out sprint so I know I'm playing it. So let's see what we got. So we've got 1 definite success. And then if I want to discard 2 cards, I can get another one. So I think I just want to take that success because I don't want to get rid of too many cards here. I definitely want to keep scan in hand. Even though I don't really need focus at the moment. So I'm going to move, and this victim is going to come with me, and then I'm going to move into the mess hall. So Ripley's going to be in the mess hall with the greatest concentration of her fellow victims. And that cost me 1 time. Distraction gave me 2 times. So I'm currently at 7. And that's a great place for me to be, honestly. Yeah, that's a great place for me to be because I want to be able to buy a lot of these cards next turn. That's a really potentially strong turn for me. Especially rolling 3 dice, that opens up a lot of possibilities. So that's where I'm going to stick. Especially with the Evomorph on just 1 for now. Okay, so that's going to move me into the planning phase. And so I'm going to take all the 0 cost cards that went in there at the end of the last turn. So focus, walk, walk are all coming into hand. And I have space for 5 more cards. So I'm going to take planning. Yeah, I'm going to take planning despite the fact it's very expensive at 3 because that's going to let me roll more dice. Yeah, because I'm also going to buy the next sprint for 2. And the reason I'm doing that is... Oh, I'm on 1. There we go. The reason I'm doing that is I'm just really going to try and guarantee myself as much as I can so that I can kind of move back and forth with the victims and try and just get them out of here and remove that from the conditions for the Evomorph continuing to evolve. So that's what we're going to try and do. And then I have 1 time left, and I have plenty of room in hand. So I am going to take a close call. That's going to let me re-roll potentially if I really need to, so that I could really potentially have a pretty good turn coming up. So that is going to leave me with, in my hand for the upcoming turn, I have close call, scan, focus, sprint, planning, focus, walk, and walk. So that really potentially lets me get a lot of folks out of the ship, which let's put aside the fact that that would not have worked in Alien. It's different. A little fitting our game mechanics. So, all right, that is going to be my planning phase, which puts us into the killer phase. So what I'm going to do is, since the Evomorph is off the board, I'm going to draw one of these ambush cards, and I'm going to resolve it instead of a terror card and his normal intelligence. So I flip this. You can see that these cards are modal. The top space right here on this particular card, which is the number 1 card, which I got pretty lucky to draw that right now because it's the least impactful. So that lighter side, that's going to be the side I would activate for the hatchling and the youngling. And the dark green side here is going to be the spot for if it had evolved into an adult. Okay, so you've discovered shed skin. Place an X marker in the closest space to you without an X. So that's great. So what that means is I'm going to put that in the mess hall because that's where I am. And what that means is that I've scanned. I know the Evomorph is not in the mess hall. So the next time that he would pop out from hiding to mess with me, he cannot pop out in that area. He has to pop out elsewhere, like somewhere else close. So that's pretty great, especially because I've got so many people sitting in the mess hall. So that's really going to, I think, let me execute my plan. And I really like that. All right, so I'm going to double check that. Okay. Yeah, so that was definitely pretty good place for us to be. Now, since the Evomorph, his special thing is that it's hiding right now. It's ambushing me, so I'm not going to draw a terror card at all. That's all it's going to do to me, which is pretty darn good. Honestly, this is a great start for us. Because we have lowered the horror level a couple of times. We're in a spot where we can get some folks into the escape pod. And yeah, and the Evomorph is still in hiding. It hasn't raised its evolution level yet anymore. So that's a great spot. Okay, so now we would move into panic. And we don't need to worry about panicking because nobody died, which is amazing. And then into upkeep. Oh, and we forgot to do at the end of our planning again is we forgot to put these back in now that we have had his turn without them. Sharp rest and weak attack. So I can take those back next time. Yeah, so that's gonna, we have no upkeep really to do right now. Okay. All right, so this is, we're in a great position. But honestly, if I had $1 for every time I've said or thought those things when I was playing this game and it turned out to be bad, I would probably be able to buy another killer box at least. So we'll see how this goes. After a strong swig of my Traverse City. All right, so I think the first thing I'm going to do is I took planning specifically to try to clear some folks out of the mess hall. I just don't like them being grouped up there together. So I'm going to do that first. I get to roll 3 dice. And so we're going to do that first. So I have 2 successes, which lets me roll 3 additional dice for the next horror roll. So that's great. And I'm going to use that to sprint. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to try to get as many, again, I want to try and get as many folks out of here as I can. And since I can do it as part, like I can save them as part of my movement, that means that I have the ability to just kind of go back and forth here, and that's what I'm going to try and do. So, I'm going to play Sprint next, and I'm just going to go for it. Wow. So it's a good thing that I did the planning, because otherwise that would have been a big old whiff. The only question is, do I want to reroll all the dice, honestly? Because, back up to 6. Do I want to reroll all of the dice? Because, yeah, I would have to get rid of some cards if I wanted to get. But, honestly, I don't think we need to, because I'm just going to end up back in the mess hall anyway. Yeah, I think it's probably okay. So I'm going to move into the escape pod, and I am going to, I'm going to save these 2 victims. They're going to go on my card. So the first space is going to let me reduce the horror level. And then I'm going to take a search card next, because I think I want to be able to. I want to be able to do the mess, or to search the mess hall, because I'd love that extra key card. And that was just kind of a good, unexpected boon for us. But that is going to cost me a time to do that sprint. And then for my second move, I'm going to go back into the mess hall. All right, so looking in the mess hall now, I've got lots of options. I can search to take the key card, or potentially look through the deck. I could walk to take more victims into the escape pod, which is also very attractive because I get more time. Or I can just try and do all of it, honestly, because I'm rolling 3 dice, so it's not a bad spot to be in. I think I'm going to search first. Yeah, I'm going to search first. So I get to roll 3 on that. And I have one success. I don't think I want to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't think I want to get rid of any cards here. I think I'm like where I am. So one success is going to cost me 1 time. And then I get to take the top item card of my space, which is going to be this key card. That is going to give me a key card token that I can use to activate some of these other guys throughout the game. And then I think I'm going to walk because I want to take more of these victims off. Especially, again, that mess hall is just so crowded right now. Everybody's having their last meal, I guess, before they get killed. So I'm going to try and clear them out. Okay, so that's a no good because I did not roll very well. So I'm gonna blow my close call here. It's going to cost me 2 more time, taking me down to 2. But I think it's worth it because if I do get 1 success here, I can move and reclaim some time from the escape pod. Okay, so I do get the 1 success I need for my walk. That is going to let me move 1 space at the cost of 1 time. Okay, so I've moved into the escape pod, taken 2 more victims with me, and that is going to let me regain 2 time each because I want to hold on to that heal space just in case I take some damage. So that's going to be 4 time, taking me up to 5. So I'm going to need that to replenish my hand in the upcoming planning phase, I think. So I don't want to waste too much more of that. So I don't have to use a scan because I discovered the skin, which was pretty fortuitous, honestly. So I didn't have to use that at all. And I only got to move 1 space. So I'm going to hang out here in the escape pod. And so both of my key cards, I can use these to put the key card chits onto something that I want to use, and then I can refill them with the 2 key cards that are here in the ship. So I really want to use one of these soon so that I can replenish it with something from the escape pod, or the other one is here in the hangar bay. Yeah. So actually, I gotta flip this item over because I got that. And that is the Vibro Claw, so it's gonna be a weapon. Weapons didn't work out very well for them in Alien, so I don't know that's the direction I want to go. I think like the stealth game, the stick and move is probably going to be where I want to remain. So, I'm looking at focus, and I have another walk. I think I'm going to keep my walk in hand, honestly, because I want to be able to move just in case the Evomorph pops out. So that's what I think we're going to do. Yeah, we're going to hold these in hand, and we're going to move on to our preparation phase. So I still have 5 time. So I don't want to go too crazy here. I think I am going to take a search for 2. And that leaves me with 3. I am going to take a... Honestly, we're doing so well with... we're doing so well with the horror level at the moment that I don't know that I need anything up here. So I think I'm going to take another sprint because we want to keep moving around the ship, trying to help victims into the escape pods. And then I am going to take... I'm going to take the other close call because that really honestly saved us last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm good on cards. So our hand moving... And that's going to take us down to 0. So our hand moving into the next phase is going to be close call, sprint, search, scan, focus, and walk. So that, with a hand this size, it's going to let me also dump cards to, if I need a result and I don't have a horror, or I don't have the close call available to me. So that's what we're going to try. All right. So then I'm going to repopulate the rest of my cards here. Search, sprint, and planning. Now back to the killer phase. Let's see what the perfect organism is going to do. So we're going to do another ambush. All right, so this one is make a horror roll. Place a All right, so I'm gonna make my horror roll. Okay, so I got 3 2-card discard for success results. Okay, so it's gonna do a damage. I think right now I can eat that. So I don't want to waste any of my cards right now. I think I still want those. So I'm gonna take a health off of Ripley, and yeah, I'm gonna keep it there. All right, so that's where we'll go. Yeah. Okay. So that is what we're doing there. Oh, I did need to move that up. So yeah, he is now. Yeah, now on that space. Okay. All right. So then we go to panic. There's nothing to panic. Everything is good on board here. Nothing. No one was killed. Some folks escaped. I feel a lot better now that I don't have any big massed piles of victims. For it to get into one space, go crazy, and like all of a sudden be like big problems. So we're gonna stick with that. Yeah, it seems good to me. And honestly, we've been quite lucky because we drew the 1 and then the 2. So that was a good first couple turns. All right, upkeep, nothing to do in upkeep. So we're just gonna go right back into my action phase. Beyond 6. Okay, now we gotta. So our first objective was breaking up the mess hall a little bit, and we did that. Now we've got to figure out what we want to do next. So I have some of these key card. I have 2 key card tokens to use, and I might want to use that either to open up some of the maintenance shafts or to activate some of these additional maintenance cards that are part of the USS Konrad. Nostradamus. So I may want to do that, and I think probably at this juncture, the maintenance card. I'm not really sure which way I need this game to go yet. Like, if I want to really like do the self-destruct or anything, and it's still a little early to get the crusher and the incinerator going because I don't want any of the victims wandering in there if they panic and dying and expounding the horror level. So I think I'm going to open up some maintenance paths. Like, I think that's the way to go. So that's where I can move around the board a little bit. It's not going to cost me anything to drop those key cards. So I can do that a little bit freely. And I think I want to be making my way towards the hangar because that's where another key card is. I can pick up another key card chit so I can use them. Yeah, so I think that's probably what I want to do. Because if I'm just not sure what maintenance I need yet. So I think I'm going to go over here, and then I'll maybe make a loop with an open maintenance shaft or 2, and that will really help me. That'll really help me be a little bit more mobile, and then I'll figure out how I want to spend the rest of my key card. That will also take me by the armory, which gives the mysterious pills, and then storage is all the way over here, and that gives me a flamethrower, which could potentially be very good. Although I don't want to, if I ever find Jonesy, I don't want to kill him with the flamethrower, so I have to see if there's a box I can put him in, like in the movie. Okay, so that's what I'm going to try and do, now that I've kind of talked myself into it. I am going to... I'm just going to walk, because I think I want to... Yeah, so I would need to open 2... Yeah, so I'm going to change that a little bit. So I'm going to open up the bridge, and I'm going to go into storage. Because I do have a search in hand that's going to let me pick up the flamethrower, and I think that's what I want to do. And then maybe I can make a detour. Yeah, because I can also like move into this escape pod and help and get some folks out of there. So I think that's the play. So I'm going to walk first. And I've got 2 successes. But unfortunately, I'm only going to move 1 space here into the mess hall because I'm going to use one of these key cards. I'm going to place it here on the board, and that's going to open up this maintenance shaft for me to use, which is going to be really important and give me a lot of mobility. And then, unfortunately, I'm going to have to blow a sprint, I think. I'm going to double check the key card thing real quick. It doesn't specify when I can use the like if I can interrupt my movement to use it. But in the rule book, one of the things the game tells you about rules ambiguity is you can use the do what makes the most sense. And it doesn't necessarily make sense to me that I would like throw a key card into something and keep moving. So I'm going to say that ends my movement. So I'm going to have to use a sprint now as well. And hopefully there's another success in here for me, which there is. I've got 1. So that's going to let me move up to 2 spaces. It is going to cost me a time, though. So I'm going to move here to the bridge. And I'm going to end my movement, and I'm going to place my second key card. So that gives me access to this maintenance tunnel and this maintenance tunnel, or maintenance shaft, which is going to really open up this side of the board for me. And I can really use that to my advantage next turn. Yes, that cost me a time, and then I'm going to scan. Yeah, I'm going to scan here on the bridge because I want to get another marker down there. Because if I do want to come back to the bridge later and maybe use the self-destruct, it would really be nice if the Evomorph can't get the drop on me. So I definitely want that. So I'm going to take 3 again for a scan act. Now, if I get really lucky and get some successes, I don't. Do I want to drop cards? Yeah, I'm going to drop my 2 focus cards to get another success here, so it doesn't cost me any time. And I'm doing this because I've got the horror track. Well, it actually should be at 1 because there was a damage that was taken. But I've got the horror track almost all the way to the side. I should be okay to go without the focus card for a round. And that's going to let me get down another X so that I know that the X Evomorph isn't there. And then I go back down to the left side of the horror track. So that's good. So that's going to leave me with close call and search. And I still have 5 time. So that's going to let me get a sprint. I've been playing a little dangerously with some of my movement, honestly. But I'm hoping that's not good. I got to balance that out a little bit in the coming turns. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, and this guy actually came with me as well. I forgot that. So I've got two victims here in my space. So that's how we'll do that. All right. So that is it for me. I'm going to go into planning. I have 5 time. I need to take a sprint. I absolutely got to have it because that's the only way I'm going to be able to move next turn. I have a search in hand. And that is going to leave me with 3. So I could take a distraction. I really don't need it. I could take another search or a guard. Which I don't want to do. But I'm going to take an improvise, so that's going to let me count 3s and 4s as successes. So if I really need to have a roll, that's going to really swing the odds in my favor. So I'm going to take sprint and improvise to be 5 total. I then actually get to pick up walk, weak attack, and short rest to give me a total of 7 cards. And then I'll reset my time to 6. So that is looking, I think, pretty good. Let's see what the Evomorph have in store for us. Okay, I'm going to increase the horror level, so that's going to go back up to 1. And then I'm going to move the Bloodlust marker up on the track to the next space with Evolve. And oh, okay, the special effect column. There we go. So, the Evo, that's the number 9 card, so that's the second worst one. So, I am going to go up to, so that this is now an adult Evomorph, so my original hope that maybe I would be able to get away with not facing the adult version is out the window. So it's going to gain 6 more health to go to the full 10 health because it's now fully grown. Oh, plus its final health marker. And then it recovers all of its health. It didn't lose any. And then I'm going to reveal its dark power. So this is going to ramp up. Remember how I said I felt great about this earlier? Well, now the difficulty is going to ramp up, we think. All right, so it has Razor Claws. So when revealed, place the Evomorph in the closest space to you without an X marker and remove all X markers. Oh boy, okay. So that means that... okay, so it was a great thing I scanned last turn, just in case, even though I didn't know that it was going to be an issue. Okay, so it can't ambush me this turn. But it is going to come out here with... it's the closest to me, and I get to pick. So I'm going to put him in the mess hall. Oh, this has a... Ugh, it's bad no matter what, actually. So I'm just going to choose to put him here. I mean, this guy's in big trouble. This guy or gal's in big trouble, but I think that's the best spot. And then I have to remove all my X markers. Okay. So that means that in his adult form, he now is he's moving 2. He has 2 attack power, and I really need to be careful about maneuvering around the perfect organism at this point. Okay, so like I said, difficulty just got ratcheted up. Now that it's back on the board, I believe I'm going to start resolving terror cards again. Yeah, because it's back on the board. So now we're going to do terror cards again. So this is again where we start reaping the whatevers for having an easy first part of the game. Okay, so I'm going to remove all... So this is solar interference. I'm going to remove all key card markers from the board. Then roll a die for each key card marker and place it as followed. Okay, so this is going to scramble where my key cards go. So I'm glad I know now. All right, so 2 key card markers. Then I'm going to roll for both. So for the first one, I get a 3. That's going to put it in the upper right maintenance shaft. Which is going to right over here. Upper right maintenance shaft. All right, then the next one is going to go into 1. All right, which is the upper left maintenance shaft. So, luckily, well, I mean, that's not great. It means I have to go around to get another key card because I placed both of mine. But that's all right. So yeah, those have been replaced into the maintenance shafts. And then it's going to move. It doesn't have to move because there is a victim right in the space with it. And then it's going to attack, and it's just going to automatically eat that victim dead. Just going to move up the spot. And then whenever the Evomorph damages you, randomly discard an action card. Hasn't damaged me. And then that is going to increase the horror level as well. All right, now we panic. So something died, but there's nothing left in the killer's space. So nothing is going to panic, but I definitely need to GTFO, as the kids say. So yeah, it's a good thing we turned up that sprint. Okay. So upkeep. I have no upkeep actions right now, since we still have terror cards. And now we're really going to start to be on a much bigger clock because we've got those terror cards available. I am moving this around because if he vanishes again, I'm going to take the adult ambushes, which are going to do more bad things. All right. So I think the first thing I do here is sprint, honestly. Like, I'm just going to try to get as many of these victims out to try to keep him a little more off-center. So I get 1 success on my sprint, so that's going to let me move 2 spaces. I did luckily use that key card. So I can only take 2 victims with me. 1, 2. However, the nice thing is that since there was already 1 on the escape pod, I can save all 3 of them. So I am going to heal for 1, and I'm going to move 1 space, which I'm going to move into storage. Then that lets me flip Ripley, and now when I'm successfully resolving a search action, I can choose to freely look through all the location's unused items cards instead of the space's item deck. So that means all the item cards that did not make it onto the board, I can look through those and see what's in there. So maybe so I need the special keys to use the like lifter armor. So if it's not in the game, I can go and potentially get it if it's out there. I don't know what's in there, so it's an option that I've got. So that's pretty good. And then for each additional victim saved, I get a time. So that's going to take me up to 7 because I did save the additional one that was sitting there on the escape pod. So that's pretty good for us. That also cost me a time because I did sprint there. So now that I'm in the storeroom or the storage room and the Evomorph is adult and has revealed itself, I think I need a weapon. So I'm going to search. So I'm going to search. I know the flamethrower is there. If I do well here, I could potentially look at the next one. So I do get 2 successes, so that's great. So I'm going to look. I know the flamethrower is there. I also get to look at the super loader key, which I just talked about. So the super loader item card. Oh man, reduce all movement by 1 to a minimum of 1, reduce all damage to 1 by a minimum. Cannot play. So the super loader is cool. So that was not in the first Alien movie. That was in Aliens, I believe. But I think that I don't want it quite yet. I think I'm going to take the flamethrower. But it's close. Honestly, that's close. If the super loader was a little closer, I would probably take the keys, but I'm going to take the flamethrower. That's 2-handed. Now, one thing is I have to be really careful about using it because the damage is going to distribute itself among victims, the killer, and me. So I really want to make sure that I'm not damaging anyone I don't need to damage. So that cost me another time, which is going to take me down to 5. And I don't think there's a connection between the storage and... There is not. So that's where I'm going to have to now figure out what I want to do. I do have a walk in my hand. I've got an attack. I've got a short rest and an improvise. Improvise could potentially be really, really good for me. So I want to make sure I'm utilizing that as I can. I think what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to... It would really be risky to blow my walk here because that's only going to leave me with sprint if I pay for it, and I'm only going to be on 4 time if I walk. However, I do get to reclaim a time. So actually I think that's worth it. I'm only going to be able to sprint next turn if I buy it. So it's a risk, but I'm going to walk. Yeah, I think I just need to get this person out of here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make my roll. I get 1 success, so I get to move 1 space, and I'm going to move into the escape pod. This is going to escape this victim, and that's going to give me 1 time. Back up to 5, which I used the 1 on my walk itself, so it keeps me at 5. So I am stuck right there, and I need to make sure that Yeah, because the horror level is probably going to go up next turn, and it could go up even more. So I really need to make sure that I am, I'm managing some of this. But I think that's a worthwhile risk to take. So we'll kind of see how that goes. All right. So I'm going to move to the killer phase now. So I'm going back to its intelligence, which it's going to go eat a victim, unfortunately. There's really nothing I could do about that. So, yeah, so it gets to move 2 spaces. It's going to eat this because it does 3 damage to it. And that's going to move it up 1 more, which is going to increase the horror level, which kicks me back down to 2 dice. So I'm glad I did some work previously to make sure that I could... Did I forget to... I sure did. So, you know, I'm going to redistribute these real quick because this should be in here. Yep, there we are. Okay, so yeah, I did forget to put those back in at the end of my last prep phase because on this turn I have only sprinted, searched, and walked. Sorry, yeah, making sure those are all good. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to go into my planning phase. I'm going to take 3. So there's 3 here. I've got 4. I'm definitely taking the walk. I need that. And I need to take the sprint as well, I think, which takes me down to 3. I really wish I had one more time to take Furious Strike. Because I think I need 2 movement cards. I think I need the sprint and the walk. I feel the horror level is about to shoot up a little bit too, so I'm going to take Distraction then as my last card, moving me down to 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in hand. So I'll take the last 2 focuses. All right, and then back to 6. All right, let's see how punished. Let's see how punished we are here, because we could definitely be punished. Okay, so we go to the killer. He is again going to move up to 2, take another victim. He was in the escape pod. That is just awful. Thought he was safe, but I just couldn't get to him. So no more victims on the board, which isn't bad. So that moves it up to here. But that does mean that I have no more, I really have no more protection from some of those cards. He's going to come straight for me. All right, so next, put this over here. Next terror card. All right, Toying with the Prey. If the Evomorph's a hatchling, it's not. Discard and draw the next terror cards. All right, so we're already burning a terror card. I hate that. All right. Game over, man. Game over. Oh, I love it. Game over, man. Game over. Just in case it wasn't really obvious what this was referencing. If there are no victims on the board, discard this card, draw the next terror card. Oh, man. We're going to rip through these. Garbage Day. All victims adjacent to the trash compactor panic. All right, so there are none of them. Then everyone in the trash compactor receives a damage. I'm really glad we didn't draw that when the mess hall was full. And then it's going to move towards me and attempt to attack. So it has a movement of 3 right now, and I don't think it can get to me. But it's going to take the shortest route, which would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's either at the junction or the armory, the junction or right here, which I think this gets it closer to me. Yeah, so that's what it's going to do. It can't attack me, so it's going to end there. Now for the panic phase. There's nothing left to panic. They're all gone. They're either dead or they've taken the various escape pods off the ship. All right. So, no, I don't need to shuffle around any items. So I think I'm all set. Because I still have terror cards left in the deck. But that's going to dwindle quickly if the last turn was any indication. So I've used 4. There are 4 left in the deck. So I need to get this show on the road because if he gets to his finale... yeah. If it gets to the finale, then that's going to probably be bad for me. Okay. So it's back to my turn, my action phase. And again, I forgot to put these back out. So we'll do that now. Oh, search spring. Do that right now. Okay. So I really want to try and get the horror level back down 1. So I'm back in the 3 dice pool. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to focus. And I only get to roll 2 dice here. I've got lots of cards in hand, so I can get a success here. Oh, I'm going to need to use them. So I'm going to dump the other focus and the short rest. I hope I don't rue binning the short rest here. That's going to give me 1 success, which is going to cost me a time, but it's going to get me back down here. So then I can, if I want to, I can attack it. So there's the question, really. The question is, do I want to attack it and then like kind of hit and run, pick up some of those other key cards, and try to do something like either self-destruct, maybe lead it through the crusher, or the incinerator. Man, if only I could do that. The furnace. So what I could try and do is I could try to get into a situation where if I can activate the furnace, if I can activate the furnace, which is going to take 2 key cards, then I could kind of try to make it go back and forth through the furnace, but I couldn't go myself because I would also take damage. So I gotta be careful there. All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk back to 3 dice. Oh, no. Oh, no. Man, that's bad. Not going to lie, that's bad for me. I should have improvised, but that wouldn't have helped. I'm going to play Close Call. And re-roll a die. And still nothing. So I just kind of wasted a card. It hurts, but I'm going to... I'm going to bin improv... Oh, man. This is what happens, folks, when you... No, I can't... Odds are that should have worked, so I can't really, like... super down myself for that. So I have the hanger, block. It hurts, but I think I need to run away a little bit. Yeah, I think I need to run a little bit here, and I need to kind of reset. Maybe try and pick up a key card or 2 to try to, yeah. Pick up a key card or 2, try and give myself some options. Because I think if I just move over and weak attack, because I'm going to have to discard cards. No, I've just got to take my medicine. So I got no successes on walk, which means I'm going to take a damage. But I can walk. I'm going to walk here into the furnace. And then I'm going to... I'm going to... I've played a lot. I've used a lot of cards. I can't really afford to... Yeah, I'm just going to weak attack. Yeah, so I'm going to weak attack. I'm going to try and hit it with the flamethrower. Ultimately, this might be a bad idea. It kind of depends on how I roll. Oh, gosh. That's really bad. That's really bad. So if I let that stand, if I let that roll stand, it's going to end my turn. So I'm kind of just like standing right next to the Evomorph. Yeah, I probably should have just run. I probably should have just run, honestly. Okay, so I've got to dump. Unfortunately, I've got to dump 2 good action cards to not end my turn and have the weak attack fire. I'm going to lose a life because that's what I rolled. Unfortunate. Yep, so I'm gonna do that. I'm going to use a charge on the flamethrower. And I'm going to do a total of 4 damage to the Evomorph. I just felt like I was standing pretty close to it with the flamethrower. Like, I probably needed to try to do something with it. Yeah, I don't know. That was... I probably should have run. And then I'm going to sprint because I got to get out of there. And if I don't roll a success, I'm in trouble. Preferably 2. Okay, so I got 1. So I'm going to move 1, 2. I think he still runs me. Yeah, he still runs me down, honestly. But 1, 2. Actually, no. 1, 2, 3. So he doesn't quite get to me, but we'll see if anything changes that. So I may live to see another day. That does cost me a time, and I go to 4. So I'm going to pick up all the ones. This is where my last turn is problematic because I only have the 1 0 cost card, the walk here. So that's going to be a problem for me. I feel like I have to buy a sprint. So I have just a couple more movement options to get that back into my hand. And that only leaves me with 2. And I think with the other 2, I'm going to take a guard. Because I'm only sitting on 2, or really I'm sitting on 5 pseudo life right now with my final life. Yeah. So I think I just need to like duck and dodge a little bit until I can reclaim some of these cards. And then I'm going to go back to 6 and I'm going to put everything back out here. Binning that distraction and improvise really hurt. It really hurt. There it is, improvise. Distraction, close call, walk, short rest, focus, focus. All right, yeah, so I honestly like had some pretty rotten dice luck last turn, but that's going to happen in these games sometimes, so not much we can do about it. Yeah, so that's going to be my planning. So we're going to go to the killer phase, and we'll see. We'll see if I survive or if the perfect organism gives me. Okay. So, Exoskeleton, I'm going to take a black final health token from the reserve and place it on top of the Evil... Oh, man. So, I'm going to... yeah, I have this supply of final health tokens, and I'm going to place it on top of the Evomorph's final health tokens. So, depending on what this is, there could be... He could get more life or no extra life. Oh, my God. All right, so the cat just... Cat just made an appearance. Good job, kitty. You just kind of ran right in the middle of that. And he's going to, I think, take a look at everything that's going on. People like cats, right? So if he comes into the screen... Yeah, so I'm talking about aliens absolutely eating me, and then all of a sudden something jumps up next to me. So there we are. He's going to... If you could bless my dice while you're over there, that would be superb. I would absolutely love that. Okay, but back to what he's doing. So, yeah, that could be pretty bad, depending on the final health token I drew from the top of the remaining pile, but we'll see. This does not increase the Evomorph's health. Instead, when you must reveal the final health token, reveal both simultaneously. So it's still bad, because he could get more and more life, and okay, hello. He could get up to, like, I think 4 to 6 more life, if I'm remembering my tokens correctly. So we'll just kind of see how that goes for me. And yeah, as this black monster takes over my play area, we'll see if he. Yep. You do your thing, kitty. No. Okay, you can't. Okay. So the problem is if I move him, he's going to like try and dig in. Oh, sorry, kitty. There you go. I'm sorry. Sorry, I had to manhandle you there. Gotta put all my stuff back. Okay. So after that vicious cat attack, let me get all my stuff back in somewhat order here, and then we'll continue. And then I increase the horror level. So we kind of got a little bit of a break there that the Evomorph didn't come and attack me. So at the very least, I have a turn to kind of reset a little bit and see what I can do as far as picking up some of these critical cards that I need. And just kind of seeing what I can do here. So that's what we're going to. That's I think what we're going to do. Again, panic is not a thing. Yeah, panic's not a thing anymore, and I have nothing to upkeep, so it's going to go back to me. So the thing that I like about this is this gives me a little bit of flexibility now. So I have the ability to walk and try and get a key card, which I think I'm going to do. And then I might be able to save my sprint, because I think that's what I'm going to do, honestly. So I'm going to walk. I only get 2 dice here because the horror level increased. There, I get a success, thank goodness. So I'm going to go into here. I'm going to take the key card. Upper left junction. All right, and I'm going to put that shit on my key card here. And I honestly don't know what I'm going to do there yet. Enemy or victim ends its movement. So the Crusher's not great, but the Incinerator potentially lets me... What am I trying to say? It potentially lets me kind of like loop with him. I would have to get kind of lucky to make the self-destruct work. So I don't think that's a realistic proposition, honestly. Because I have to get super lucky to get it. And he's going to go into his final form pretty soon. So I think I just have to kind of try to make plans to kill him. I don't know that I'm going to be able to be successful, but we're at least going to give it a shot. So I'm going to keep sprint and I'm going to keep guard in hand. Because I don't think at this point, I'm going to be able to... Yeah, there's no reason for me to move again. Yeah, because he's moving 3, so if he tries to move and get to me, then... Yeah, that's going to be all right. Yeah, I think we're going to be all right. Nearest victim. All right, so, yeah, I'm going to go into prep. I've got 5 because I walked 1. And I'm going to pick all these up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I take Furious Strike here for 4. Because I have 1 more Flamethrower charge. And I think I just need to... Yeah, I think I just need to do my best to get like 1 big hit in. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the... Furious Strike, which takes me down to 1. And then really the only thing I can take after that, well, actually the only thing I can take is the Close Call. So I'm going to take the Close Call. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 in hand. So that takes me to 0. So going into the next turn, I'm going to have Close Call, Furious Strike, Weak Attack, Walk, Short Rest, Focus, Sprint, and Guard. And then Walk is going to go back into the pool after I've done that. So yeah, that's where I need to kind of hope the terror isn't too terrible and see what I can do. So let's flip it because it's, yep, the killer phase. System reboot. Take all key cards on the board and on any maintenance cards and return them into the key card item cards. The board on any maintenance cards. Oh. Oh, crud. Okay, so that's going to shut off these shafts for me. That's fantastic. Okay, so that's going to go on that keycard card. And then I guess the next one is lost because I already don't have any more keycards. Okay. So that's going to move the horror level up 2, which that's bad because it puts it out of reach for me to get there with focus reasonably. So that's not great. But then I'm going to do an event card, which is going to be Cluttered Shafts. While moving, you may move through an inactive maintenance shaft at a cost of 1 life. Victims cannot follow you if you move in this manner. So that's not terrible. All right, so the Evomorph is not moving. Yeah, he's not moving because the terror deck is. It's not great that some of these things have happened to me via the terror deck, but it's also not bad that he's not moving and attacking me at all. So that's awesome, honestly. But yeah, so right now he's only targeting. He only has the target victims action on his board, and there are no victims left. All right, so yeah, he's not moving. So I'm going to take advantage of that. Now, unfortunately, oh, this key card's on the board, so it's going bye-bye as well. Unfortunately, the thing I was talking through where I might try to like use the furnace or use key cards or something similar is kind of out the door at the moment. I think I'm going to have to I think I'm just going to have to try and kill it. I don't think I'm going to be able to, but I'm going to have to try. Yeah, I'm just going to have to try and kill it. I don't like it again. It's not great, but it's what we have. So yeah, there's no panic, there's no upkeep. So going back to my turn, unfortunately the horror is really firmly in the 2-die area right now. So that's problematic, but I'm just going to have to do what I can. I'm going to try and sprint and get back to the mess hall. Actually, let's see where we're at. So we get 1 success. So I could still try to go to the furnace and see if I could, because I have two chits on my key cards. So if I move 1, 2, I can't quite get there. I think I just need to get to the mess hall. And then, unfortunately, I don't have a search, but yeah, that was. You know what I'm going to do? So I'm going to go 1, 2. And that costs me a time, which I should have reset that. It's down to 5. I have a guard in hand. I feel like I need to try. I'm going to walk. And I got to of course, I got to discard 2 cards. Oh no, I couldn't have gone there because there's a maintenance shaft. Shoot, excuse me. Kitty, you're not helping. Okay, so for my sprint, I can't move there because I do not have a key card there any longer. So I could try to go to the trash compactor. I can't use the airlock. Yeah, I'm just going to have to try and kill it. So I'm going to go to the mess hall. Back up. So yeah, it appears that I've acquired a new sidekick for Rick's solo cup, at least for today. So if he stays over on his side of the board, we'll let him do his thing. Yeah, so I'm gonna pick that walk back up because we don't need it, Kitty. We're still like in a spot where I need that. So thank you. All right, and now I'm gonna short rest because I'm down a couple life. So I'm gonna give that a shot. And I have to discard more cards there because I am going to need to. I can't have my turn end there. I'm going to try using a close call. See if I can get a success. I can't. So I am going to use. I'm going to use a focus and a weak attack because I want to keep my furious attack. And then I'm going to use a focus. Oops, that should be right there. Focus on the attack. Yep. All right. Right spots. All right, I'm going to try to see if I can reduce the horror level even just a little bit. And I'm going to get... Is it worth it? It is not. So I am going to reduce the horror level by 1. And it's going to cost me a time, taking me down to 4. All right. So now I am going to go into the planning phase. I don't feel great about where I am, but we'll just kind of have to see how it goes. I think I might just take... He's going to come for me eventually, right? Yeah. I'm going to take improvise again. I'm going to take close call. That's going to spend my 4, and I'm going to go back to 6. Okay. Now it's going to be the killer phase again. He still does not have a victim target. But let's go back to a terror. Now he's moving. There we go. Okay. If the Evomorph is a hatchling, discard this card, draw the next. Otherwise, he's going to move towards me and attack twice. Oh, goodness. Whew. So, all right. He is on where he moves 3. So he's going to move 1, 2, 3. So unfortunately, he cannot quite get to me, thank goodness. Because attacking twice is a big deal. And then whatever that icon is, which I do not... what are you? Oh, he's going to vanish. Oh. All right. So scan becomes a lot better now. Okay. Oh, well, crap. I really should have taken search there. I thought I was going to get in an attack. And then... Yep, so let's go back in for planning purposes. Okay. But he's going to ambush me, so I really wish I had a scan now. Maybe should have picked one up just in case. Okay. He's definitely going to get me. Oh, boy. I've got guard, though. That's good. Okay. So it's my turn again. I think the furnace might be, like, yeah, getting down to the furnace might be my play, honestly. Yeah, these are all mine. I think getting down to the furnace is what I got to do, and then hold some cards in hand and hope it works out. So, now luckily for me, woof, oh, you know what? I forgot to give myself 1 back for my short rest. Because I don't think I can afford to lose any of these cards right now. So I'm going to lose a life. It's going to cost me 2 time. And I'm going to move 1 space into the trash compactor. And I think that's all I can do. So, yep. I'm going to take some cards back. Yeah, losing that extra die hurts at the moment. So if I take all of these back, it leaves me with 4 available. And I think I'm going to take Retaliate for all 4. This may be a mistake, but I'm going to try it. Because, again, I think I need to kill it. That's what I need to do. Yeah. So that's going to give me 10 cards in hand. Back up to 6. So I'm going to add Retaliate, Short Rest, Focus, Weak Attack, Focus, Walk, Furious Strike Guard, Improvise, and Close Call. And that's where we're going to be. I think that's what we need. I would absolutely love to be able to move the horror level down to try and get 3 dice for my Retaliate, but I just don't think I can at the moment. Okay. So now that's over. Walk goes back into the pool. And we're going to draw an Adult Ambush card. And it's not one of the great ones. That's great. So I'm going to make a horror roll. I get no successes because why would I? So that is going to raise the horror level, which is totally cool. So that's going to go over here. Got very, very lucky there. All right, and then it's back to me. So I'm going to keep walking. Try and get towards the furnace room. Ugh, gross. All right. All right, I have a couple different attacks in hand, so I'm going to get rid of weak attack, and I'm going to get rid of focus to give myself a success to get down to the junction. And then I'm to short rest, because I need to. So that walk is I'm going to lose 1 time to go to 5. It is what it is. And then I'm going to take a focus to try to reduce the horror level again. It's probably going to cost me some time, but all right. So 2 successes. I really, really needed that. It takes me up to 7 time and reduces the horror level to 3. All right, now I feel like we're in not a bad spot. Okay, but let's see what the next phase brings. All right, so I've got 7. Oh, did I forget to roll for my short rest? I think I did. I'm almost certain I did. All right, so yeah, so I'll roll for my short rest because I didn't feel like I could take any back. That's getting more discards. Crap. I don't think I can at the moment afford to lose time and increase the horror level. I think I've got to try to get the horror level down. So unfortunately, man, I just keep like buying improvise and then I have to get rid of it. Maybe that tells me something about the card. Yeah, I have to do it. I have to, yeah, I can't afford to raise the horror level any. So I'm going to give myself 1 back from my short rest. All right, that leaves me with Retaliate, Furious Strike, and Guard. And that also cost me a time, kicking me back down to 6. And now as I'm looking at what I want here, I think I want a distraction. I'll take the walk, of course. And then I keep picking up these guards and retaliates, thinking that I am going to be able to use them. Let's go to 3. I'm taking a sprint. And then I'm taking a scan, which gets me down to 0. So, I mean, I guess it's not a terrible thing that I'm not getting attacked and I'm not having to guard, but so it's like a good problem or a champagne and strawberry problem, I guess. But hey, it is what it is. All right, so I'm taking those. That's my 6, and then I'm going to start putting these guys back. Close call, focus, short rest, focus, weak attack, walk. All right. So that's going to leave me going into the next phase with scan, sprint, walk, distraction, retaliate, furious, strike, and guard. So let's see what our perfectly organistic friend, organismistic, or whatever, what is a friend has in store for me. All right. Place the Evomorph in the closest space to you without an X and remove all X's. Hey, there we go. The showdown begins. And he's going to attack me twice. All right, so all my complaining about having all these cards in hand I can't use, and here we are. Okay, so he's going to attack me twice. He attacks for 3 damage, so I'm really going to have to roll here so that I can not die. Okay, so I've got the retaliate and I've got the guard. So I really wish I had been able to pick up the vibro claw, but that mistake might come back to haunt me, honestly. So I'm going to try retaliate first as my reaction to his first attack. So if I can get at least 1 success, I can reduce the damage and attack him back. If I get 2, I ignore all the damage and attack him twice, which would be great. So hopefully I didn't waste all my luck on that last roll from the... I did not. Okay, so I rolled 1 success, which means I'm going to lose 1 life because he's only going to hit me for 1. And then I am going to attack him for 1, so take 1 damage off, leaving him with 5 damage and his final 2 final health tokens. And then he's going to attack me a second time, and I'm going to use my guard here. So I'm going to try and do this again. I can't take 3 damage. I just can't. So I'm going to get rid of scan. Oh man, actually, you know what I forgot to do? So I got to take that back just a bit. Because he did damage me, so I have to randomly discard an action card. Oh, this could be bad. This could be real bad. That's my Furious Strike. Ugh, it was bad. Okay, so now I do the guard. I can't afford to take all this damage, so... Oh, crap. This got bad in a hurry. That was my only attack in hand. Man. Alright, I gotta get rid of walk and scan. And then I'm still gonna lose another card. And it's distraction. So I guess I still get to move. Okay. So that leaves me with just sprint in hand, so I guess I can at least get away. And I'm still going to take another damage. Which leaves me with 1 and my final health. So, yeah, we're in trouble. We're in big trouble. So that is going to get binned. And he's back on the board, so we're going to get this terror card. Alright, so he gets a minor dark power, sideswipe. Whenever he vanishes, I perform the action before it disappears. Yeah, wow. So he's going to attack me before he vanishes, which is very bad. I can do 3 damage to get rid of it. I just really need to... I don't think I can kill him, honestly. I'm real screwed here. I just had to do so... him tagging me twice in that square was just so bad. It was so bad. And now that the terror deck is out, I reveal his final phase. So yeah, Blitz of Death. He's attacking me. Yeah, he's moving and attacking me twice a turn. So I think I'm dead. But, you know, let's play it out and see how it goes. Okay, so all these cards are dead. Oh, shoot. No, those don't go back in. So, yeah, those are there. These are here. Okay. So, yeah, the Razor Claw's power really boned our plan there. Losing my only attack card was bad. So, like I said, I just don't think I have enough to take this guy out. So, let's see what happens. Yeah, the only thing I can do on my turn is sprint. That's it. So, I do go 2 spaces and lose a time. So I go 1, 2. Okay, so I can't get into the furnace and drop my key cards there, unfortunately, to try to do something with him. So I think I'm just dead. Let's see. Okay. So I'm going to go into my planning phase. I'm going to pretend like I'm not just straight up dead, but I think I am. Oh, sorry. Oh, no, those don't go back yet. Rewind a bit. So I'll take all these. And then I have 5. Unfortunately, I cannot buy an attack because it's in the bin. I will by a... Where's the head? 5? Sooner or later, improvise is going to work for me, right? Improvise and a search, because I can try to search for something in the deck. Maybe something in the deck just saves me if I live this turn, but probably not. So sprint, scan, distraction, guard, furious strike, retaliate, and walk. Oops, there we go. All right. So again, I think I'm just straight up dead. Because actually, instead of an improvise, I'm gonna get a guard because I gotta try and live. All right, so this takes me to the killer phase. The terror deck is gone, which means he's got the Blitz of Death up, which again I think just means I'm dead. But yeah, so we'll move him up here, move the Evomorph here, and he is going to attack me the first time. He attacks for 3 damage. I'll guard, which I think my only shot is I gotta roll 2 successes on guard, and start dumping cards if push comes to shove. So I roll 0 success. That's just totally cool for how this game has gone. Yep. So reduce the damage by 1, which still means I am going to take my final hit point. I'm going to flip it, and there's nothing there. So I am toast. Unfortunately, though Ellen Ripley was able to save a lot of victims from the Nostra Konrad, yeah, we just couldn't get there in the end. That last sequence of events, I think, where we had the double attack, we had the Razor Tail just destroy our hand when we had a plan about trying to use the flamethrower with a furious attack and try and just get like the last couple chunks of life down. Unfortunately, just really messed with our plan. And also all my key cards and movement tricks being taken away at that point was just super bad for us. So, but that's how this game can go. Like, you can feel great about it at one moment, and then you're just absolutely hating life after that. So overall, I think that's a really good representation of how the Evomorph and the Konrad play. And if I look at, so he actually, both of his tokens were blank too. So I could have just axed the Evomorph. Unfortunately, I was not able to take advantage of it.